Dream a little dream of me. Welcome, kindreds, it's Jessica TheStoryWitch, and I've got something beautiful to show you today. This is a Cosmo planner. It's the first year that this has been a thing. I'd never heard of it. I got an email from the creator and asking if I would do a review of the diary, and I originally said no, I couldn't, because I wasn't going to be able to fit it in, and she very kindly sent me one as a gift anyway. And to be honest, I was so impressed with it that I thought I'm going to try and squeeze it in on the channel. So as you can see, it's really beautiful. It feels kind of like, I don't know, it's not rough, it's like kind of smooth, but then it's got this gorgeous like embossing on the front. Very kind of simple design. It's got the elastic closure. Hopefully the dog's not too distracting, sorry about that. And it's got two little ribbons. I have already had a look through this, so yeah, I'll already know some of the things that are obviously going to be in here. It costs £28, I believe, in the UK. It does ship to other places as well. I love the design of it. I think she worked with a tattoo artist to get this kind of effect, and it's just really, really lovely. So let's have a look. So Cosmo Planet. It was a crowdfunding project, which obviously did get funded earlier in the autumn, and yeah, it's very different from some of the other. There's a lot of choice of moon planners, astrological diaries and things now. This is very focused on working with the energy of the moon and Mercury specifically. As you can see from the front, it's got the moons, and it's also got the symbol for Mercury here. So it's like it's just clever. It's clever and an interesting way of doing it. So here we go. We've got a little welcome explaining about the diary, a little key here for what all the different symbols mean. And like this might be a bit like what on earth first of all, but she does explain all of this as it goes on. Table of contents. Inside it's only like this gold, black and white, which I quite like. It's a kind of very minimal design, which is very sort of simple and cool, I guess. Yeah, so how it works, and she explains about the moon and the Mercury cycles. You know, a lot of people are already really familiar with working with the moon cycles, so like as the moon's waxing, you do more kind of like outgoing type projects, and then as the moon's waning, then you work more with bringing the energy back in kind of thing. So that's, you know, very familiar to most people. But she suggests working with the Mercury cycle in a similar way, so that towards the end of the Mercury retrograde, you start the kind of planning phase, and then as Mercury turns direct, you start to take action. And I haven't worked like project planning with Mercury in that way, so I'm interested to try it. Talks about the void of course moon, which is quite a big deal in here. I really love the way that the void of course is shown in this planner. Yeah, a little bit more about like the days, months, things like this, but this will make more sense when you see the actual months themselves. So a review of 2020 and there's some good prompts in here, as you'll see as we go through, which is really cool. So there's more illustrations for each of the months, and obviously here for the year, and some nice quotes as well from some different like inspirational quotes. So a vision tree for 2020, and it breaks it down. Like, I don't think you're going to need more space probably to do this, but it's lovely. The prompts are there, you know, in the first place. So yes, and then turning your dreams into goals. So the midterm goals are the ones you work with on the Mercury cycle, because those are the ones that take like 3 or 4 months, whereas the broken down shorter goals are the ones you work with the lunar cycle, because it's done within a month. Well, you know, crossing over months obviously sometimes, but yeah, I thought it was a really interesting plan. A space for your bucket list. Planning for the year, and I thought this was really lovely with the year here, and then it's got the different cycles, so you can see it all as an overview, and then you can fill in what you're going to be working on at each moon cycle. And I think probably you won't necessarily know all of this straight up, but it would be good to kind of, as you're feeding back through here, adding this in so you can see your whole year at a glance. I think that'll be really nice to have afterwards as well. And then handy calendar pages for each of the days, which is cool, with the full half and the full, all the quarters basically on there, the moon's on there. Then some creative space. She recommends, like, the pages aren't super thick, so she recommends like using just like regular pens. You wouldn't use like, probably, a fountain pen might be okay, but like not kind of paint pens and things like that are not going to work in here. Tips for using the planner, and this is where I want to show you. Oh, here we are. Let's go into January. So each of the months has the same sort of format. I won't walk you through every single month, otherwise this video will be really, really long. But basically, they all have this introduction which tells you a little bit about why the month is named for that, and it explains which is the main sign for each month. And then a little bit about the food and things which is available, which I thought was quite cute as well. And then Capricorn tips, because January is mainly Capricorn up to the 21st. It's got the things that are to do with Capricorn. So if you're working with astrology and you're quite new to it and you may not know much about Capricorn, then this is really helpful. So it's got things to do, suggestions which are specific to Capricorn. And then into the actual month itself, it's reflecting back on what you did in the last, and this is the same for every month. So it's got things about like, what did you achieve, what didn't work, what can you adjust, and then how are you feeling, what do you need to stop and start doing, which I think is really lovely. And also like an extra page here with a quote. So each of the months has this kind of setup and a little like mini calendar, which is very sort of, it's almost like if you're Bujo curious, if you're bullet journal curious, this would be a really good transition diary. And another thing that is very similar to what people use in their bullet journals is daily tracker. So you can choose like 3 things you want to track for the month, and then you can track them across here, which again, that's something that you usually only get in a bullet journal. And I love how the moons are on there as well, you know. And she breaks each month up. The project planner is here, so this is like your main thing that you're working on, and this is your kind of secondary thing, and this is almost like extra, like stretch kind of things that is not quite so important for you to get to. And where the moon is she recommends, so she breaks it down into, these mean your energy levels, so the little like lightning strikes are how much energy is kind of available because of where the moon cycle is. So this, you'd be looking to plan and create and expand type activities within this week. And then into this week is focus and complete as the moon's kind of waning again. Then rest and let go. And then we're into plan and commit because we're back into the start of the new cycle, create and expand. So it works through like that. So you try and plan your kind of workflow with the moon, which lots of people sort of talk about and suggest, but the way that it's set out here is going to make it really easy to kind of follow that pattern. So yeah, I thought that was a really interesting way of doing it. And then these are like the dailies then. So you've got, this is obviously your whole month overview, and then onto the dailies. And so it's still got the main energy kind of thing up here. And it's got a little gratitude journal as well, which is nice to track all the way through. And then obviously space for each of your days. I really like how the void of course moon is included in here, and this is in Greenwich Mean Time or kind of universal time, so you would have to convert these times for your time zone, but that's it's shown in a really good way, the way that it's like from this to this, whereas a lot of the journals will just show that the void of course moon is starting at a certain time, and then you just work out, it's not that hard to work it out, but I just like that that window is given, which is really cool. And then, because it's the full moon in Cancer, specific prompts specific to that full moon in Cancer. So what is supporting you? How are you nurturing yourself? What is making you feel unsafe? So very kind of Cancerian prompts. And some of these prompts do come up again. So when you get another Cancer moon, a Cancer new moon, you'll have the same prompts again. But yeah, it's good. I think it's well thought out. And then, you know, the same then basically as you go through. So we're on to focus and complete now because the moon is waning again. And you know, you can see there is half, isn't it, going into the last quarter. Rest and let go. And then it's the new moon in Capricorn. So you're setting your intentions, and so there's space here. I don't know if it's going to pick it up on the camera that well, but it's got a very, very faint dot grid here. So if you're used to bullet journaling, you'll recognize this, but it makes it really easy for you to kind of use those lines. So it's not like having lines, but it gives you that kind of grid space, which helps you to lay things out well, which is really nice. Interrupting myself here just to add that if I did have a criticism of this diary, it would be that the fonts and the printing is a little bit hard to read, and so if it is difficult for you, then the choice of colours and fonts might not work for you. January and then into February. So the months are the same like this. So I'm going to go a little bit quicker through now because you can see what it's all about. I wanted to show you some of the Mercury Cycle planning. Oh my gosh, I don't know if you can hear that. My stomach is rumbling. I wanted to film this video in the morning, and yeah, I thought I'll do it before I have anything to eat. That will be fine. Oh, it has got as well, I don't know if you can see it on there now, but the little tabs for each month, so you can very quickly find each month as well, which is really nice. And I love this gold. It's just really, it feels quite calming actually. Yeah, it is quite different in style. No, like obviously there are some illustrations, there are these for each of the months, but usually the journals that I use have got lots of pictures and things in, and because I choose to use them for like collage and stuff like that. So this is very different. I think this would work much better for somebody who is not planning on bullet journaling alongside, or perhaps you're just planning on journaling alongside, but this is going to be your main planner. I think it would work really well for that. Again, like reflections because of the full moon, so Taurus this time. So like, what resources can you count on? How can you bring passion into your life? What is stopping you from trusting yourself? And I think these would work well as like card prompts as well for divination. So if you're looking for astrological kind of tied in prompts, this would be a good place to find them. It always makes me feel a bit like I'm time traveling when I flick through diaries. I'm seeing December 2021 and it's a little bit strange. So here at the back, it gives you more information about the moon and the different kind of energy things. It talks a little bit about the menstrual cycles. It's not super hardcore about this, but it is like, oh, are you in sync with the moon kind of thing, which I have a little bit of an issue with. But it does talk about how your own cycle and the moon cycle's kind of the energy is different in your own cycle as well. And then more on the moon, and it shows you why these different energy levels are there. So like if you're new to it, I think it probably wouldn't be great for like absolute beginners, but if you know a little bit about the moon cycle, this will be perfect because it's got all the other information is here available for you. And then the Mercury planner, which is something that I've never done like this, so this was really interesting to me. It explains a little bit about Mercury, and then talks about how you use the different phases. So what she recommends is using the when Mercury's retrograde, you start doing the thinking about what you'd like to do, and then so do not act until Mercury goes direct, allowing a few extra days, and go take it into taking action. And I'm not like, she's been using this, which is why she wanted to bring this to more people, and I'm gonna try it. Like for me, I feel like when Mercury's still in a shadow phase, which means when it's still traveling over the part that it was retrograding in originally, then I wouldn't be taking action until after it cleared its shadow. But I'm gonna try it and see. I'm gonna keep an open mind and see. So these are the different Mercury cycles through the year, 8th of Feb to the 20th. So this is the first cycle. And so each of those phases are laid out for you. So she recommends doing like longer term projects over the whole Mercury cycle, so like 3 to 4 month projects. And there's 3 cycles a year. So if you're going to use that and you know you've got like a bigger project that's going to take a longer period of time, and she says like maybe writing a book or a particular art project or something like that, then you could use that Mercury cycle for that. And yeah, I think that's interesting. And then just some spare pages at the back. There's a little card pocket. And like I said, they've got the 2 ribbons and the elastic closure. Feels nice, it's not too thick as well. It'd be easy to kind of just throw in your bag and take around. For me, it looks like a really good bridge between bullet journaling and using the planner. So yeah, I'm gonna just see how I go with actually using it. Like I said, I'm gonna test out that Mercury Cycle planning and see how that goes. So yeah, that is it, the Cosmo planner. It's still available to buy. I think if you can buy it all the way through December, and obviously she's UK based, so if you're in the UK then you probably should still get it before the new year. But if you're further afield, then postage at the moment, especially with like everything that's going on in the world, is a little bit slow. But if you check the website, there's some more information on there about the planner. There's links to the crowdfunding page. There's also there's like a blog telling you about how she created different parts of the diary as well, which is quite interesting. So yeah, check that out. Let me know what you think, especially if you're a bullet journaler. This might not perhaps be what you're looking for, but if you're looking to get into bullet journaling and have things like trackers and be much more in sync with the different energies available at different times, I think this is it's something I haven't seen before. So I thought that was quite exciting. So yeah, let me know what you think. Thanks so much for watching. Warmest blessings, and I will see you very soon.